Hello everyone. In the previous sessions we saw how gender discrimination affects the personality of an individual and also how it affects the productivity of an organization. In this session we will see how gender mainstreaming can be done for women in the workplace. We have already seen how the life of a woman is. She faces discrimination right from birth. There is gender biased sex selection, neglect of the girl child, forced early marriages, sexual abuse, dowry related violence, trafficking, discrimination against widows, and threats of cyber crimes and cyberbullying, and sexual harassment in public places like streets, bus stops, transport systems, and also many other sites of violence are there, that is home, educational institutions and workspaces. Already we have seen how women are affected in home and in the schools and colleges. In this we will see how she gets affected in the workspace. Braving all the discrimination outside, she comes to work, and here once she becomes a mother, life is very different for an employee. And researchers say that working mothers are rated less like businesswomen and more like housewives. They are viewed on par with elderly people, blind, retarded and disabled people. And she encounters various forms of discrimination in the workplace as well. First one is family care discrimination. Family care is discrimination against pregnant employees, employees with children, employees caring for elderly parents or sick spouse. And even men get affected because sometimes men have to take care of their children, their elderly parents or their sick spouse. And for example, one example of family care discrimination is when women are denied opportunities while taking up parental responsibilities. They are not allowed to take on new projects. They are not allowed to attend influential career building networking events. They are not allowed to meet new clients, and they are not given senior positions involving frequent travel and overtime work. But the same position is offered to a man with small children. So if it is parental responsibilities, means it is the responsibility of both mother and father. But here we find discrimination is only towards the women because the society believes that care work is mainly the work of the woman. And next is maternity discrimination. So the proficiency of very successful women are questioned once they become pregnant, take maternity leave or adopt flexible work schedules. And this maternity discrimination serves as a maternal wall that prevents career advancement for women. And mothers are looked down upon as people who are less committed, and they are demoted to positions with lower profiles, pay and promotion prospects. And this leads to minimal progress and rampant gender inequality. And according to the World Economic Forum, at this rate, it will take another 217 years for women to achieve gender equality. And next, for achieving higher positions, progress to the top often motivates any career. Everyone would like to reach the top in their career, and many women even delay marriage and motherhood to reach that top position. And nearing their goal, maternal wall prevents women from reaching the top. And because managers believe that mothers will be inefficient. And this bias serves as an invisible barrier and that is called as glass ceiling because it is not visible to naked eye for employees with children to get promotions. So employees with children, especially women employees with children, it's very difficult for them to get promotions, and despite good qualifications, women make up only less than 8% of the top corporate level positions, it is found. Next hurdle for women is tokenism. That is, in the present day world, there is increasing pressure of social inclusiveness and diversity for any organization. Every organization is expected to be very inclusive and diverse. And so what organizations do is they follow a shortcut method. They recruit a small number of women to give the appearance of equality within the workforce. So when many men are recruited, only a few women are recruited just to indicate to the outside world that they are an inclusive organization. It is done to boost a favorable public profile only and to avoid criticism from outside. And it gives the appearance of equality without achieving it. So to all outward appearances, the company might seem to have male employees and female employees, but in reality they are not inclusive as such. And it's the result of diversity without inclusion. So they are diversifying, but they are not inclusive in their nature. Another factor that affects women in the workplace is sexual harassment. It creates an intimidating, hostile or offensive work environment, and it unreasonably interferes with the individual's work performance as well. And there are many types of sexual harassment like unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, verbal or physical sexual conduct, anything it might be, but it affects the performance of the individual, and it also affects the employment prospects in the workplace itself. If she doesn't comply with the request, then she may be sent out of the company. And this is very rampant, though it's considered illegal, because once again, as we saw in the case of domestic violence, this culture of silence perpetuates the cycle of violence even in the workplace. And there is one other new concept coming up, that is the queen bee syndrome. It's not only the men who are discriminating against women in the workplace, it is also the women folk who are not very supportive of other women folk in the organization. Their research has found. And a woman in authority treats female subordinates more critically, it seems. And women who succeeded in career almost refuse to help other women to do the same. And instead what they do is they join with male counterparts in stereotyping other women. And younger women find it more stressful to work for female managers and experience rude behavior in the workplace. That is another drawback, hurdle for women to come up in life. And there is also the subtle discrimination is used in language mostly. For example, female they hear comments like it's too hard for women, as though men can do everything, which is very hard. And comments like, but you are just going to be a mom, so why do you worry about reaching higher positions in career? Men also face this kind of language discrimination, and they may hear words like, you are the nurse, that means are you taking care of the children today? As though it's a woman's job, and if a man takes it up, it's just below his dignity, something like that. So this gender-based discrimination in language also should be avoided. And we'll see the role of organizations in overcoming this kind of discrimination against women. In three areas they can help the women. One is parental leave policies, then helping them in managing work-life balance, and giving inclusive training to all employees. First, taking care of the parental leave policies, we find that when the men are able to climb the corporate ladder, women are stuck with the maternal wall and also the glass ceiling. So companies can provide parental leave, and they can make it also gender neutral. Both the father and the mother can be given paternal leave and maternal leave as well, and the leave can be extended for a longer time in case that is needed. And organizations also can increase flexible return to work options, and the women come back to work after childbirth, then they can give them some options like work from home or modified work schedule to turn employees more productive. So women will not drop out of a company, they will continue to work and they will also be productive. So the advantages of these things for an organization is they will be able to retain top talent. So really talented women will continue to stick on to their job, and it will also make companies more attractive to talented candidates. So when some new recruits want to join the company, then they will find this aspect very attractive, and it also gives the company a competitive edge. Certain companies like Facebook, Johnson & Johnson, they are very well known for their parental leave policies, which make their company very attractive to others. So that is what is needed by any company. They need to have that competitive advantage. And second thing is the work-life balance. Companies can help women organize. So organizations should hire employees based on true qualifications without gender bias, and they should create flexible jobs to accommodate workers, and they should give women with families more time to show their competence, and they should enable pregnant women to receive benefits and treatment like a temporarily disabled employee. So instead of demoting her and putting her in a less advantageous position, they can treat her like a temporarily disabled person who will get back to normalcy after childbirth. And they can monitor and ensure the development of female employees. They can train and inform employees of opportunities for promotion instead of hiding certain facts from them. And they can empower women to scale the maternal wall and also to break the glass ceiling. So inclusive training also the companies can organize. This is very important because all employees should be aware of their unconscious bias. Maybe people might be under the impression that they are very open and they are very inclusive in nature, but this may not be in reality. So their attitudes and practices must be transformed, and the organizations must bring about a positive work environment with more acceptance and understanding from co-workers. And they should remove bias regarding women's capabilities after childbirth. So that is the general belief that after childbirth a woman becomes inefficient. So that attitude should be changed. And they should educate supervisors about caregiver discrimination, and they should create a safe place for employees to discuss subtle discrimination. So once you are able to discuss with others subtle discrimination that is happening in the workplace, then your self-esteem will improve and you will also be relieved of stress. And increasing sexual harassment awareness also prevents that happening in the workplace. So prevention is better than cure. And role of society. Society also has a role to play in bringing about gender equality in the workplace, because social norms always perpetuate inequality and that need to be changed. So society needs to be sensitive to the needs and issues of other gender. It should remove socio-cultural practices that disadvantage women, that is dowry, restricted mobility of women and their dress codes. All these things should be removed, then only women can progress in life. And they should, companies should train women to assert themselves and claim their rights and freedom. And allow them to be economically independent and also to take care of parents.